The majority of the NCIS agents out there are most of them are civilians. Oftentimes they're prior federal law enforcement agents and they're GS employees. And a lot of them have a lot of experience, and they also have another side of their mission. They do protective services, they do counterterrorism. There's another side of their mission that they do force protection. And a lot of the folks in NCIS, the Naval Criminal Investigative Services, they're very good at what they do. They're very experienced and they have perspective. And one of the things I've learned from doing this for over 20 years is perspective is monumentally important, because even if you have, whether it's a young trial counsel, a young prosecutor, or a young police officer, if you don't have perspective, it's hard to put things into perspective. And so compare and contrast that to Army Criminal Investigative Division, CID. The majority of the CID agents are E5s, E6s, and sometimes warrants. So what they will do is they will have either an MP who is maybe a Sergeant E5 or an E6, or someone without even a huge law enforcement background, and they'll recruit them and make them special agents. And so now you're wearing the suit, you've got your badge, but you are really an E5 or an E6. And there's this notion that, clients go in to see Army CID and they're wearing the shirt and tie or the suit, whatever it happens to be, and they think they're these, all powerful special agents, and they are special agents, but a lot of them are E5s and E6s.
So it sounds to me like the short story is you got these people they have chips on their shoulders versus perspective based upon experience.
Absolutely. And that's absolutely correct. And there are some more senior folks within Army CID, but when you don't have these perspectives, you have, well, I need to have X amount of prosecutions. I need to make sure we find probable cause for these cases. Because, think about it, just think about this. And I think it's common sense, which is not so common in today's world. If you are a newly promoted E5 or E6 and you get picked up and selected for Army Criminal Investigative Division, that's awesome for these guys. Now they're wearing a shirt and tie. They're not wearing the uniform. They've got a badge. They're detectives.
It's an outstanding career move for them, for sure.
It's an awesome career move, and they can get out. Maybe they'll get out and go do civilian work. And again, as much as crazy as it sounds, I am very pro law enforcement. I'm pro good law enforcement, right? And so, but if you just picked up E5 or E6 and you're in CID, there is a absolute unequivocal pressure for them to find probable cause and build cases, whether these things happened or not. Because if you're the brand new agent there and you just got out of the evidence room and you've been there for 6 months and you get 3 sexual assaults come across your desk and you've unfound them, or say there's no probable cause for all 3, the senior leadership within CID is going to look at this and say, really? And so there's a pressure to have these cases where there's probable cause that's found. And so now what you do is they just go to these extremes to try to prove a case. It's a conclusion in search of facts as opposed to facts in search of a conclusion. And a good law enforcement agent is going to be using facts, and the facts will always drive the conclusion. And the problems come when you have a conclusion which is in search of facts. And you see this more in CID than any other division. You see it in Marine CID. You do see it in Air Force OSI. And unfortunately, you do see it in Navy OSI. It should say in Navy NCIS. You see that too. But you see it nowhere more than in Army CID.